The stars above Cauldrus the Fourth burned silently. Ships floated like dark steel whales in space, some damaged, some drifting. The final battle was over, or so everyone thought. Inside the command deck of the Zalori Dominion flagship Zarnath, Admiral Rithavok stood tall and calm. His blue-gray skin shimmered under the lights. He had led his people through a long, brutal war. Now, he was moments away from complete victory. He looked at the screen before him. The last defense fleet of the coalition of free worlds was barely holding together. Only a few cruisers and fighters remained. The rest had been destroyed or surrendered. A voice came through the ship's comms. It was General Laran of the coalition. "We are ready to discuss terms, Admiral." "Please, no more blood." Rithavok smiled, but there was no kindness in it. "You have chosen the wiser path, General. Prepare for boarding." In a hidden command bunker on Cauldrus 4, General Laran turned away from the screen. He was tired. His uniform was torn, and a long scar ran across his face. Around him, officers argued in hushed voices. "We can't give up," one said. "There are still civilians on this planet. We don't have a choice," another replied. "The Dominion will wipe us out if we resist." Laran closed his eyes. The coalition had once been strong. Dozens of planets, hundreds of ships, billions of voices united against tyranny. But now, all broken. Then, something happened. A soft alarm beeped on one of the consoles. A young officer stared at the screen. "General, we have something on long-range sensors." Everyone turned. "It's a ship, large, unknown class, exiting hyperspace at Vector 13.7. It's heading straight toward us." Laran moved quickly to the screen. The object was enormous, larger than any ship he had ever seen. The signal code was strange, ancient, yet familiar. "Can you identify it?" he asked. The officer swallowed hard. "It's broadcasting an old Terran signal, sir, but that's impossible. Humanity vanished from galactic affairs over 100 years ago." For a moment, silence filled the room. Another officer spoke, shocked. "Terrans? They left during the Second Core War. No one has seen them since." Laran stared at the signal. It was still coming. Fast. On the Zarnath, Admiral Rithavok also received the alert. "Report," he barked. A Zalori technician responded, nervous. "Unknown warship entering the system. Not Coalition. Not Dominion. It matches no current design." Rithavok's smile faded. "Is it a threat?" "No known weapons locked yet. But its size, it dwarfs our dreadnoughts." Rithavok narrowed his eyes. "Contact it. I want to know who dares interrupt my victory." In orbit above Cauldrus 4, space shimmered like water. Then, from the depths of hyperspace, the unknown ship arrived. It was a monster of a vessel, black metal, angular, humming with silent power. The words UNS Leviathan glowed faintly on its hull. It moved smoothly, like a creature used to hunting. Inside, systems lit up one by one. In the central chamber, a woman opened her eyes. Her name was Captain Alexandra Riker. She had been asleep for a long, long time. A calm voice spoke from the walls around her. "Welcome back, Captain. You have been in stasis for 97 years. She blinked. "Mission status? Project Phoenix is now active. The war has reached critical phase. Galactic balance is unstable." Riker stood slowly. "Then it's time. Wake the crew. Power the main engines. Humanity has returned." Back in the Coalition bunker, General Laran stared at the sky above. A strange, dark shape was now visible in the atmosphere. It cast a long shadow across the burning fields of Cauldrus 4. He turned to his officers. "I don't know what that ship is, but it's Terran, and that means we may not be finished yet." For the first time in weeks, something flickered in his eyes. Hope. The stars above Cauldrus the Fourth had gone quiet again. But now, they were watching something new, something powerful. The massive black ship, the UNS Leviathan, hung in orbit like a silent giant. No one moved. No one spoke. The whole battlefield had frozen. Inside the Coalition bunker, General Laran stared at the screen. The Terran ship had not responded to any hails. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It only watched. One of his officers whispered. Why are they here now, after all this time? Laurent shook his head. I don't know, but that ship looks like it could destroy a whole fleet by itself. On the bridge of the Leviathan, Captain Alexandra Riker stood tall, wearing her black hand-silver uniform. Her eyes scanned the holographic display showing hundreds of small enemy ships. Floating around the planet, the ship's AI, Orn, spoke in a calm, male voice. Tactical scan complete. The Zalori Dominion fleet is large, but outdated. Their weapons cannot pierce our shields. Riker nodded. Good. And the Coalition, few remaining ships, low power. They will not survive another attack. Riker took a deep breath. It had been nearly a century since she entered stasis. Humanity had vanished from galactic affairs. By choice, the Project Phoenix plan was simple. Disappear. Wait. And return only when the galaxy was ready for a change. Now, it seemed, the time had come. Wake the crew, she ordered. Full battle stations. All across the ship, lights flickered on. Long hallways filled with quiet footsteps as soldiers in dark armor moved to their stations. They were the best humanity had ever created, enhanced, trained, loyal. In the Dominion flagship Zarnath, Admiral Rithavok watched the Terran ship with growing concern. He had fought many battles in his life, but this ship was unlike anything he had seen. Have they answered our hails? He asked. No, Admiral. They are silent, perhaps. They want to test our strength first, Rithavok said coldly. Prepare all weapons. Target the Terran ship. If they move toward us, we will fire. Back on the Leviathan, Riker's officers stood ready. Orm began reading transmissions aloud. Dominion flagship has locked weapons on us. Riker smiled. Let them think they're in control. Activate shield array. Ready forward rail cannons. But do not fire. Yet, on the display, dozens of enemy ships moved closer. The Dominion was testing the Leviathan. Riker knew this was a warning. Should we respond? Her weapons officer asked. Riker shook her head. Not yet. Let them wonder. Then, the screen changed. A message was coming through. This is Admiral Rithavok of the Zalori Dominion. Identify yourself. Terran, you are entering a war that is already over. Riker walked forward and answered for the first time. This is Captain Alexandra Riker of the UNS Leviathan. Humanity has returned, and we do not recognize your so-called victory. Silence followed. Then, the Dominion ships opened fire. Bright beams of energy streaked through space toward the Leviathan. Explosions lit the sky, but when the smoke cleared, the Terran ship was untouched. The energy blast simply faded against its shields. Inside the bridge, Riker didn't even flinch. Return fire, she said quietly. In seconds, two massive rail cannons on the Leviathan's front side lit up. With a low hum, they fired. To Dominion cruisers vanished instantly. No explosions, no fire, just gone. The battlefield shook. Dominion captains panicked. Some began pulling away. The Coalition forces, watching from below, could hardly believe what they were seeing. They took out the cruisers in one shot, whispered a young officer. General Laurent stood frozen, eyes wide. This changes everything. Back on the Zarnath, Rithavok slammed his fist on the console. Fall back, regroup. We are not prepared for this. But the Leviathan did not chase. It simply moved into position above Cauldres for like a guardian. Riker turned to her communications officer. Open a wide channel. I want the entire system to hear this. The officer nodded. Channel open. Riker stepped forward and spoke. To all forces in the Cauldres system, this is not your final day. Humanity has returned not to conquer, but to restore balance. The war you fight is not over, but its direction has changed. She paused. This galaxy has suffered enough. It's time someone stood up for those who cannot fight. If you stand for freedom, you have a friend in us. If you stand for oppression, you will answer to Earth. She looked at the screen, where ships were now backing away in fear. We are not your enemy unless you want us to be. The message spread across ships, planets, and secret bases. The name Leviathan was whispered in shock and wonder. Humanity was back. Not weak, not broken, but stronger than ever. And the war that was supposed to end had only just begun. The galaxy was silent, but only for a moment. After the UNS Leviathan destroyed two Dominion cruisers with a single shot, everything changed. No one dared to speak on the open channels. Dominion fleet stopped moving. Coalition ships powered down their weapons. It was like the entire war had paused to take a breath. The great ship hovered above Cauldrus 4, silent and still, but its presence was louder than any battle cry. On the Leviathan's bridge, Captain Alexandra Riker watched the battlefield calmly. Her crew stood ready, waiting for her command. The ship's AI, Orn, spoke softly. Enemy fleets are holding position. No further attacks detected. Coalition ships remain passive. Riker nodded. They're scared. Correct, Orn replied. They are calculating. They expected surrender, not resistance, not from us. Riker walked slowly to the center of the bridge. Her voice was steady. Let's remind them who we are. Project Phoenix was meant to be quiet, hidden. But now we speak. She turned to her communications officer. Open a full galactic broadcast. Every system, every frequency. The officer's hands moved quickly over the controls. Broadcasting. Live in 3, 2, 1. Across the stars, screens flickered on, radios crackled. Holograms lit up. From mining colonies on the edge of the galaxy to capital worlds deep in Dominion space, every being heard the same voice. This is Captain Alexandra Riker of the UNS Leviathan. I speak on behalf of Earth and the Terran Accord. The image showed Riker standing on the bridge of her great ship, calm and confident. For too long, this galaxy has suffered under war. Billions have died. Planets have been burned. Hope has vanished. Her eyes narrowed slightly. And all of this happened while humanity stayed silent. We watched from the shadows. We listened. We waited. But now, we act. Her voice grew stronger. We are not here to rule. We are not here to destroy. We are here to end this war and bring justice in the Dominion capital. High Chancellor Jorg stood frozen as Riker's message echoed through the golden halls. Advisors around him whispered in panic. Terrans were myths, one said. They left. They were finished. But Jorg knew better. They were sleeping, he muttered. And now they've woken up. Back in the Leviathan's command deck, Riker continued her message. To the Zalori Dominion, this war is no longer yours to control. Your fear tactics, your forced peace, your threats, they end today. To the coalition of free worlds, you are not alone. Stand with us, and we will help rebuild what was lost. She took a breath. To everyone else watching, choose your side carefully. Then the signal ended. Silence followed. But it wasn't the silence of peace, it was the silence before change. General Laran, still inside the command bunker on Cauldrus 4, stood quietly. His officers looked at him with new hope in their eyes. One of them asked, "Do you think she means it, sir? That they'll really help us?" Laran gave a small smile. "I don't know. But I do know one thing: no one speaks like that unless they're ready to fight." Far above, the Leviathan moved again, slowly, powerfully. It shifted toward the damaged coalition fleet. Riker's voice came through private comms to Laran's command post. "General Laran, this is Captain Riker. We have medical and repair drones ready to assist. You can begin landing coordinates." Laran almost couldn't believe it. "Copy that, Leviathan." Standing by, drones flew from the Terran ship sleek, quiet machines that moved like birds. They carried supplies, medicine, and even mobile shield generators. Within hours, wounded soldiers were being healed, ships were being patched, and food was delivered to starving civilians on Cauldrus IV. It was not an invasion. It was salvation. But not everyone was thankful. On a hidden Dominion command ship far from the main fleet, several generals gathered around a long black table. "This cannot be allowed," one said. "Humanity has broken the balance. They should have stayed gone," another whispered. "But now that they are back," said the highest-ranking general, "we must answer. We still have weapons they don't know about." A hologram lit up in the center of the room. A planet appeared deep inside Dominion space. It was a secret facility, a final weapon. "Activate Project Starbreaker," the general ordered. Back on the Leviathan, Orn alerted Riker. Unusual power readings detected. Hidden Dominion fleet movements in Sector 9. Riker looked at the map. They're planning something. Confirmed. Possible large-scale retaliation. Riker turned toward her crew. They're going to fight harder now. They're afraid. That means we hit a nerve. Her voice was calm, but sharp. This war may have started long before us, but now we finish it. And so the galaxy listened. One ship, one voice, one message. Humanity was no longer hiding. They had returned with purpose. And the war was far from over. The stars seemed colder now, as if holding their breath. The UNS Leviathan moved steadily through space, carrying hope and danger alike above Cauldrus 4. The battered coalition fleet gathered strength. The Dominion forces, once sure of victory, prepared for their final stand. Captain Alexandra Riker stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the display showing the Dominion fleet gathering in a deadly formation. "We knew this was coming," she said quietly. "They won't give up without a fight." Orin, the ship's AI, responded calmly. Dominion fleet strength estimated at 80 warships. They are deploying a new weapon called Starbreaker. Its power output exceeds all known standards. Riker's lips tightened. Then we need to stop it before it fires. In the heart of Dominion space, deep inside a hidden asteroid base, Starbreaker came alive. It was a massive weapon, larger than many ships combined. Its core pulsed with dangerous energy. Admiral Rithavok stood before it, flanked by the highest Dominion commanders. "We will crush these Terran interlopers," he said with grim determination. "Starbreaker will end their threat and bring final victory." A general nearby added, "Our spies report the Leviathan is moving to intercept. We must strike first." Back on the Leviathan, Riker gathered her officers. "We can't let Starbreaker fire," she said. "If it does, millions will die, and the war will end in their favor." Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Chen, nodded. "We have a chance if we strike fast and hard. We can send a stealth team to disable the weapons core." Riker smiled slightly. "Good. Prepare the boarding team. I'm going with them." The Leviathan moved quickly. Cloaked stealth ships detached from its hull and sped toward the asteroid base. Inside one, Riker and her elite crew prepared. The boarding party included the best fighters, engineers, and tech specialists. They were trained for one mission: sabotage the SDA or B or EAKE or DOT as they neared the base. Alarms blared. The Dominion was ready. On the asteroid base, Dominion soldiers scrambled to defend the weapon. But the stealth ships were faster. They slipped past the outer defenses and landed inside the base. Riker led the team through dark corridors, moving with purpose. The base was cold and metallic, filled with dangerous machines humming with power. "Stay close," Riker said. "The core is this way." Suddenly, Dominion guards appeared. A fierce fight broke out. Lasers flashed, soldiers shouted. The boarding team fought bravely, using skill and teamwork to push forward. Meanwhile, in space, the Leviathan engaged the Dominion fleet. Massive beams and missiles lit the darkness as the two forces clashed. Orin coordinated the defense, managing shields and weapons with perfect timing. "Captain, the Dominion fleet is attempting a flanking maneuver," reported the tactical officer. "Prepare countermeasures," Riker ordered. "Hold the line until the boarding team completes their mission." Deep inside the base, Riker and her team reached the weapons core chamber. The Starbreaker's energy pulsed around them. Bright and deadly. Engineer Miles stepped forward, placing devices on the core. "These charges will disable the weapon," he said. "But it will take minutes." "Cover them," Riker shouted. More guards arrived. But the team held their ground. Finally, the charges beeped, and the core began to shut down. On the Leviathan, the Dominion fleet suddenly faltered. Their weapon was offline. Admiral Rithavok cursed. "They've disabled the Starbreaker. Retreat." But Riker wasn't finished. "Prepare to board the Dominion flagship," she said. "We end this here." The boarding party returned to the Leviathan and prepared for the final attack. Riker led the charge, boarding the Dominion flagship Zarnath with her team. Inside, they found chaos. Dominion officers argued and fought among themselves. Fear was everywhere. Riker confronted Admiral Rithavok in the command chamber. This war ends now, she said firmly. Rithavok hesitated, then lowered his weapon. Your strength is greater than I imagined, he admitted. We surrender. Back on Cauldrus 4, news of the Dominion's surrender spread quickly. Coalition forces cheered. Civilians came out of hiding. Hope returned to the war-torn world. Riker stood on the Leviathan's bridge, looking out at the stars. We've won a battle, she said softly. But the galaxy still needs peace, Orin replied. Peace requires vigilance. Humanity will remain watchful. The war was over for now. But with humanity back in the galaxy, a new chapter had begun. The galaxy breathed a cautious sigh of relief. The war that had dragged on for decades was finally over. The Zalori Dominion had surrendered. The coalition of free worlds was rebuilding, and in the center of it all stood the UNS Leviathan, symbol of humanity's return. Captain Alexandra Riker looked out from the bridge of her ship. The stars shone brightly, no longer cold or silent, but full of promise, back on Cauldrus 4. The coalition held a grand meeting. Leaders from many worlds gathered to discuss the future. General Laron stood beside Riker. Your arrival changed everything, he said quietly. Riker nodded. Humanity never wanted war. We only want peace. The coalition leaders looked hopeful. But deep inside, Riker knew this peace was fragile. War always leaves scars. Riker told Laron later, we've stopped the fighting, but old fears don't disappear overnight. Laron sighed. True. Some Dominion forces still resist. Rebel groups try to cause trouble. Riker's eyes hardened. Then we need to be ready. Peace means watching, protecting. Across the galaxy, the Leviathan became more than a battleship. It was a protector. A guardian of peace. Ships from other worlds joined Riker's crew. Scientists, diplomats, soldiers all working together. Orin, the AI, managed the network of alliances and communications. Captain, our EPORTS indicate increased stability in the region, Orin said. But unrest remains, Riker replied. We must remain vigilant. One day, a message arrived from a distant star system. We seek aid, it read. Our world faces threats from bandits and pirates. Riker smiled. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity means. She ordered the Leviathan to change course. As they traveled, Riker gathered her team. Peace isn't just stopping war, she said. It's helping those who cannot defend themselves. It's building trust. Her officers listened carefully. We will be the shield for the weak, the voice for the silent. When the Leviathan arrived, they found a small planet under attack. Pirate ships fired on cities. People ran for shelter. Riker gave the command, defend and protect. Use non-lethal force if possible. The battle was quick but fierce. The pirates were no match for the Terran ship and her crew. Afterward, Riker sent teams to help rebuild and train local defenders. The people looked at humanity with new respect and hoped. Back on the bridge, Riker spoke with Orin. Our mission is just beginning, she said. Orin agreed. Humanity's role as peacekeepers will shape the future. Riker nodded. And we will not fail. Months passed. The galaxy slowly healed. Old enemies talked openly. New friendships formed. But Riker never forgot the cost of peace. She stood before a memorial on Cauldrus 4. Names of those lost in the war shone under the stars. We fought for this moment, she whispered. For peace, for a future worth living. The UNS Leviathan continued its journey among the stars, not as a weapon of war, but as a symbol of hope, a promise that humanity would watch over the galaxy. Because sometimes the greatest battle is keeping peace.